Welcome to The Daily Grind, a Bluff City Media daily podcast. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Luke Hatmaker. Grab your favorite morning brew, and let's get to the show.
I said the Joker is a wanted man. He makes his way all across the land. I see him shifting through the night, so I tell you all the story about the Joker and the thief in the night. That is Wolf Mother. I did good, man. When I sing kind of my little
get in your lane
range, when I get in my lane and don't try to chant Catholic tunes, it sounds all right. Like yesterday, I keep telling everybody how I started the show yesterday, and everyone is like, why the hell did you do that? And I'm like, clearly I was wrong. I am your host, Luke Hatmaker. It is Thursday, and I got my guys. I got Rusty, and I got Parrish. I got both of them. How we doing, fellas? We good?
Yep.
We're good, man. It's a beautiful day here in East Memphis, as always, cooling off after the rain. Just happy to be here and not having to be too upset about the Grizzlies losing or anything.
It's quite nice. It's quite nice to be able to come in here and be able to talk about games that we don't really have much vested interest in. It's just nice. I mean, there were two games last night, and I want to talk about both of them. Let's start with the first one, Rockets Warriors, or Warriors Rockets. Man, this Rockets team, they are refusing to die, which is just good. I don't know. Not that I expected them. It's really hard to come back. I was not expecting them to come back. Being down to this Warriors team 3-1, it would worry me. I feel like it should worry everybody. So what jumped out to you most from that game, Parrish, from the first game yesterday?
Think typical game 5 Warriors. Remember they were up 3-1 on us and we beat them by like 50 something.
Yep.
Draymond waved the towel when they was playing with that trick and they put us out with 6 at home. So nothing really much I took from myself. The Rockets probably gonna lose game 6. It's kind of typical. Steve Kerr took his start. I mean, he took the players out third quarter. They still got who's that? Cam Spencer's brother, Pat Spencer. Still, you had that whole deal with Sengun. So, Steph and them got some needed rest. But I will say Steph's thumb. It seemed like Dylan Brooks was going after Steph's thumb, or it seemed like a couple players were going after his thumb injury. And so I showed a picture of him walking randomly and how his thumb looks. So, but he's still been hooping with it. So, what I really took from the game was cool. The Rockets did what they're supposed to do. Game 6 back in Golden State, though. You got to get that one.
Yeah, they were talking about that last night. Like, they're notorious for losing game 5, and the Rockets were shooting like 70% from the floor at halftime. Like, they just couldn't miss. Van Fleet was killing it in the first half. Like, they were absolutely cooking. And then Golden State got back in it. But, yeah, Parrish, you're right. All this tells me is it was a fun last hurrah for the Rockets. Thanks for your efforts. And then Golden State in 6.
Man, it is wild that Golden State, just like clockwork, does this every game 5. I'd forgotten that was the whoop that trick game from a couple series ago, where they and even in the interviews, man, they're like, yeah, it's not a big deal if we lose game 5. They really just don't seem to take that game 5 that seriously, which is fine. I mean, I would much rather close out, especially to get as fewer miles on those guys as it can, because it's like you said, Parrish, they are target as much as you can target a player's injury. This Houston team is targeting that thumb as much as they can.
And it's not necessarily that they don't care for game 5, but it's just like Rusty said, when Houston come out shooting lights out, and you fall behind, it's just like, okay. So we still keep trying to fight, or get on here, rest, get your older guys some rest and get ready for game 6. Like,
especially with Steph's thumb, Jimmy's hip, like they're kind of beat up. So it made sense to go ahead and rest them. You thought, I mean, Kerr did put him back in the fourth a little bit when they were making that big comeback, but then ultimately waved the white flag and just said, you know what, we'll win this one at home.
Yeah, and they didn't, they played some. It's just tough to take anything. This was one of those tough games to take away from Golden State because they fell behind so early. You know, it's like, it's hard to be like, oh, well, Podziemski only had 8 points because they played so many guys. It's the only guy that played really good on their team was Moses Moody, who continues to play well.
It was funny. They actually threw Cam Spencer out of the game last night instead of Pat on TV.
I missed that whole. So he said Cam. Okay, I saw that on Twitter.
Cam. He said Cam, and so I saw on Twitter everybody's like putting up the meme of like Cam Spencer at home, like.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So the next game of the series, it's going to be tomorrow, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably have had to schedule it.
Yep.
Friday night. Yep.
Tomorrow night, it's on ESPN. I imagine we're right. I don't see this Rockets team winning 3 in a row to beat this Warriors team. I just don't see it. And waiting the Warriors will be the winner of this other game, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who beat the LA Lakers last night. And man,
some respect on Rudy Gobert's name.
Monster game last night.
It was. I was watching the game and I kept thinking, I was like, no, that's Rudy. I was like, hey, that's Rudy who's having him a game. That's
like
Rudy
he finally got
doing
tired
the challenge, feeling himself every time something happened. I was like, what the hell?
It's like he finally got tired of everybody talking crap on him because folks talk crazy about Rudy Gobert, and rightfully so. And a 27-point, 24-rebound game, like he shot 80% from the floor. Like he was amazing last night.
Rudy Gobert absolutely exposed and destroyed this Lakers scheme, and it's just like,
and their lack of a big man.
Oh my God. It's never leave it to Rudy Gobert. Like maybe one of the, if you were to look at the stereotypical 5 designs of a center currently in the league, like if you would be like, here's what I want a center to look like, leave it to that to just completely expose this Lakers team for their lack of size and how they just, not only lack of size, but they didn't seem to want any part of any really physicality, getting up there and getting boards. I mean, they were just like, nope. They just didn't have an answer for it. And it's just, and Luka was clearly playing with a bad back. I mean, like DiVincenzo hit him on the shoulder earlier in the game, and you would have thought he became a paraplegic. I was
surprised he was still playing the way he was moving. It's just like,
man,
you just like run up and down the court, just like. It was funny, bro. I was like,
and absolutely no defense. Like he couldn't guard anybody last night, and so many times, and he would get switched and sag off, and somebody hit a shot or go by him, and like he's not a great defender anyway.
I mean, he can do it with healthy.
Yeah, with his bad back, it didn't help anything last night. Like Anthony Davis, if he's in this game, if he's with the Lakers still, it's a completely different series.
Yeah, and then
it got the thing about that. I saw a lot of people saying that is true. But the Lakers probably won't be playing Minnesota. They ain't Anthony Davis. I don't think they have 3 seeds. So just, I think like that matchup wise, yes, but no, it's give and take. Either way, the Lakers weren't going far. They need more moves with Anthony Davis, and they need more moves with Luka. So regardless, they suffer their own fate, regardless with whoever they had on the team.
It's crazy though, because if I would have told you going into this game that Alexander Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, and Anthony Edwards would shoot a combined 4 of 30.
Hey, they were checking some bad shots though.
They were taking some awful shots. Oh my God!
When they had Luka, it was a lot of times when Luka was on it and he just settled for a 3. I was like, "What you doing,
dude?"
They looked like this come back. Like it was like, are y'all doing this for TV, the NBA call to say, "Nah, we need to just be a close game," or what? It wasn't look like.
He was 0 for 11. 0 for 11, and they were, you're right, so many of them were bad shots. It's like, I kept looking down, I'd be like, oh man, the Lakers got back into this, and I'd be like, oh no, we're just shooting very poorly, and they're shooting very, it's a loud.
I was say weird.
Sorry.
Weird.
Sorry.
Like, hold on.
Sorry. I really wanted to kill Alexander Walker on this team. I'm
say, don't let me pull the John Morant, man. Stay on that side.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I see this Minnesota team, and it really, that's where the weir came from, because it really frustrates me, because I feel like they're doing a lot of what we should have done, because we beat them how many series ago? I mean, that series, and I love it, that the series where Brandon Clark saved us and he had all those offensive rebounds, and they are built the way that I wish we would have been built around Ja. That's what really disappoints me, because I mean, I like Nas, I like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Did you see Julius Randle being like, is it weird that looking at the cat, Like the Cat Randle DiVincenzo trade. Now, I would not, when it happened, Randle wasn't the one that I would have said was playing the best in the playoffs right now. The Cat's played really well, but
what it is, Julius Randle was a good player. So I think where people started disrespecting him somewhat. And a lot of people thought that the trade was pretty good for Minnesota.
I thought Minnesota won.
Yeah, it was just the timing of it, right? You did it right before training camp. And that's hard for a player that was considered a franchise player for them. Right before training camp began, you trade him, right? So that's just tough in general. And that's why they started out struggling. That's so tough to get the chemistry going out there because you traded a franchise player literally right before the season starts. So it's going to take time to get that chemistry up. But once they got it going about close to All-Star break, Minnesota, it's been one of the hottest teams. Outside of the Lakers, Minnesota's been one of the hottest teams as well.
And Julius Randle has been a big part of that. And I don't like y'all were saying, I don't think anybody would have guessed that.
I was really worried about, I don't know why. The fit worried me, which is just, I guess that.
I thought he fit the toughness wise because to me, Cat, especially when the Dallas series, Cat I ain't say he's soft, but he's more of a finesse big man, right?
He is.
Yeah, Julius Randle, you got the bully ball because you got Nas Reed for that, so you need another bully.
Yes.
And Rudy Gobert, he did it last night against a short team, but typically he's the one you kind of don't depend on. So they just need a little bit more toughness. So I figure it would work if they give it time. Let's say they went through this whole season. The Julius Randle became free agent. They just say, all right, it didn't work out. Yeah. There wasn't enough time, but I'm glad they did get it working so they can at least be like, okay, I think we got some here. Maybe they need to resign him.
Man, Ant is quietly putting himself a playoff resume together. Between last year when they swept the Suns, he beat KD. They beat Jokic 7-game at home in Denver. He's beaten Luka and LeBron. And if he goes on to the next round, he's going to beat, let's say he beats Steph Curry's Warriors. If they win, that's going to be a good series. But, he's putting together quietly a pretty damn good playoff resume. That's good.
But you know who he's 0-1 against? Ja Morant.
Ja Morant, baby.
Hey, man. 3 years ago.
Still. He's 0-1 against Ja Morant.
Don't let me put out my clip, man. Say about the old days. The old days. Not for real, though. The difference between him and Ja Morant, somebody stays healthy and throughout his playoff run, and another one doesn't. That's literally the difference. So if Ja Morant can stay healthy, Ja Morant could be doing the same things that was doing.
Absolutely. Man, a player's best ability is availability, and Ja hasn't had that.
Parrish, you hit the nail right on the head. Before we get you out of here, brother, I want to hear who you got winning the games tonight. Who do you got? Knicks, Pistons tonight, and then there's Clippers, Nuggets. You think either one of you think Knicks close it out, or you think it goes to 7?
Man, that's tough.
Yeah,
the Pistons, they need though. The NBA opened 2 games for that.
Yeah, they do.
Game 4 of London. So they owe them. They owe them, man.
They owe them one. They owe it to them.
But usually it happens. They don't win. I'm gonna pick the Knicks. But they owe them. They owe them. That series deserves a game 7, man.
Well, the thing is, they're going back to Detroit, and they really owe that Detroit crowd a game. They really owe them.
But I also see them losing 3 home games. Just want to know young teams. JB Bickerstaff in the playoffs, it lines up for New York to take them out. But I really I'm picking New York, but I'm hoping for the opposite, right? Clippers, Nuggets, same thing. These are the 2 best series in Century.
Absolutely.
That deserve to go game 7. So, yeah, give me game 7. Give me game 7 for the second one. I want a game 7 for the first one for New York, but I'm going to predict that they don't end it.
Heck yeah! As long as we get good basketball, I think we're all going to be happy. All right, Pierce. Thank you for hopping in with us, brother. We'll get you out of here. Have a good day. And we'll see you on Monday, sir. We will be right back. We're just going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk Big 3 right after this.
Tune in to the 2 Buck Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann every Tuesday and Thursday live at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Yeah, it worked, and I'm getting better. We're back. Catch 2 Buck Sports Show later today. Man, I'm getting better. My week starts on Tuesday, so everything is confusing. But today at noon, check us out. Preview. What are you guys talking about?
Ooh, we are doing our version of the exit interviews where we are asking the other a question as if Drew was Ja Morant. I'm Jaron. He's Zach Edey. We're asking the hard-hitting questions, not the little softballs. No offense to the Memphis media. We're great, but none of the softballs. We're asking the hard-hitting questions today. 12 noon. Come hang out.
You did this last year, right? You do this. This is one of my favorite episodes. I remember this is tune in, noon, hang out. This is one of their best. They do good work over there.
Thank you. It's going to be a good episode, like you said. Some in-depth analysis. Let's go.
Heck yeah. Which this is kind of, let's preview your show today. Let's preview. This is like a two-part where
this is the appetizer.
Heading like a triple dipper from Chili's.
From Chili's. Not out Chris Ingram.
I love Chili's. Chili's is the best. I've got a T-shirt that says West End Chili's, best restaurant in Nashville. That's all. So
I love that.
Which I see some shout out everybody in the comments. I see a lot of people in there. It's great. The big three. There's been a lot of talk about the future of the big three. And not just in Memphis. I want to preface that there's a lot of talk of if a big three model, I would say, is still how you go about winning championships around the NBA. I just feel like that might have been a window, and the salary cap makes it. They're the second apron makes it super, super hard to rely on three max players currently.
It does.
So I don't think it's just a Memphis thing that a big three might not be what you rely on. But I still wanted to talk about our big three in the year that they had. Give them grades, as it were, because Jalen, we got a big 1.5.
Yeah. And the one is not who you think it is.
Yeah.
Because, again, a player's best ability is availability. So, really, we've got three halves that make that up is what it is. Because you've got Ja Morant, who's unbelievable, and the talent is not deniable. He's the engine that makes this team go. Like, everything about Ja Morant is a superstar, except for one thing. He doesn't play consistently. Then you got Jaren, who's big in moments. He's great. But then big moments, he shrinks. And then you got Desmond Bane, who's a running back trying to play quarterback, dribbles off his foot. I think we got three halves. And I like that Kleiman he was very poignant in what he was saying about the big three to get calling the core three. And I think personally, that's what I'm going to refer to them as from now on, because I'm not sure that they're a big three. I think they're more of a core three for this team.
Yes. And he was very, very, very particular and specific about the language he used around any mention of a big three or those three players in particular.
And he really only talked about
Jaren and Ja. Which let's start with Ja. Ja seems very much so in this organization's plans moving forward, unless I am misreading everything. It's so tough because I know that we're local. We're in Memphis. We get the local stuff because all the national media is like, oh, Jaw's not, and it's like, guys, I'm starting to feel like we're getting Stockholm syndrome. I'm like, are you sure? I think we're pretty good. But I think Jaw's fine. I think the interviews, I think it shows that Zach and Ja are linked. I think they are. I don't know.
I mean, he's got a Memphis Grizzlies tattoo on his back. He would be the first to get that and get traded, but like Ja loves Memphis and Memphis loves Ja. What you're seeing is, I don't know that smear campaign is the right word, but it's like when a British person takes a good look at something, it's propaganda, right? And it's the media trying to get Ja there's your pun for the day, out of a small market into a big market. They want nothing more than for him to be in New York or Dallas or LA or somewhere where they could market him as a marquee player in a marquee city. The national media and the NBA hate players that are really, really good in small markets because the narrative will flip just like that. Let's say that Ja ends up even in Orlando, or because that's another kind of trendy place for him to go. But let's say he goes to Brooklyn. The narrative on him will flip just like that. And all of a sudden he's going to be the face of the NBA, the best player, the next superstar in line. The biggest knock against him right now, we're past all the other stuff, is that he plays in Memphis.
Yeah. And it's so frustrating. It's really frustrating. I don't know. As someone who, as people who are like, we're by no means connected individuals, but like I feel like you don't have to be a connected individual just to understand the city and understand the team and just the relationship that it has, the connection they have with one another.
Yeah.
I don't know. Grading Jaw's season, what would you grade it? It's tough. It's almost like I want to give it an incomplete because of the
I mean, I get that. I do, but like
we have to grade him. It's not fair
to grade it because we gave Taylor Jenkins incompletes and it gave him 2 more seasons than he probably should have had. You know what I'm saying? So like you can make excuses, you know, Ja was injured to no fault of his own, several freak accidents, right? The hips, the 2 hip injuries, the shoulder injury, but then he sat out a couple of games with a mysterious hamstring strain. And then in his exit interview said he never had any knee or leg pain.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you missed like a week's worth with a hamstring strain, but we're going to leave that alone. So for me, I'm going to say it's a C. I'll say C plus because
B minus for me. B minus.
Yeah. I'm like I said on our show on Tuesday, my like blame level for Ja has gone up a little bit simply because we're not available. Some of it outside of his control, but he's getting that label of injury prone, and it's hard to rely on somebody who has that label.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we could probably make a small, speaking of appetizers from earlier, we could probably make an appetizer menu of the injuries that Ja accrued over the course of the season. They were vast and various. And I think it's hard to not, we have to dock him for the whether it's fabricated or not, the pettiness that we were seeing, like with sitting out for the hamstring injury, the if he and TJ were not on the same page, like not like that stuff. I feel like I need a little bit of maturity as well.
Yeah, need some growing up this offseason.
Which brings me to the other member of the Big Three, which I want to talk about, Jaren Jackson Jr., who I think is in it. I tell anyone that will listen to me that wants to talk about the Grizzlies about how Jaren is one of the best ambassadors of the game. And I just think that he is a part of this big.
And we will be infinitely worse if we trade him.
Yes, we will.
Infinitely worse.
Worse on both sides of the ball. I don't think I think the team will unravel even more like a spool of thread. I think that he does a lot for this team. I think that a lot of and he's been here longer, I guess second longest tenured Grizzly since Jitty.
And we know what he is at this point. He plays more, and this is what kills me. There is a certain faction led by a certain media platform in our fan base that loves to say Jaren's a problem. Jaren's got to be traded. He doesn't rebound. Tell me you don't know ball without telling me you don't know ball, because Jaren has always, outside of his rookie year when he was paired with Marc Gasol and he played like a true 4, has always played more like a stretch 3, feet on the perimeter, outside, more of a perimeter wing type player. He just happens to be 7 foot tall.
7 foot tall.
So when he was a rookie, he was rebounding like crazy because he was in the post. Now he's been more out on the wing. So yes, rebounding is not a huge part of his game. He can get him when you need him to, but he is more of a perimeter type player. And so this team is not like Ja Morant can't do it by himself. We've seen that. He can do it a little bit more taking over. But in years past, we have been best is when Ja and Jaren both are kind of clicking. We've seen that 2-3 years ago, like not trying to stay in the past, but we've seen it be a good product. So for me, like I need a coach who and I hope we get to this segment here in a minute. I saw something on Twitter last night that I had been calling for since the trade deadline of a way to correct and build around some of the things that are naturally built into Jaren's game through coaching philosophies and maybe his style and preference of play out on the wing that we can make as winners.
Which, throw some of these up here. Like, can we survive the teenage Jaws maturity? We'll see. And this, I don't look at him not being a good rebounder has nothing to do with him being soft. It's just, he's being asked to do things that he doesn't, and we can build around that. It has nothing to do with softness. It's building around what he is designed as a player to do.
That and what the organization's philosophy for him has been. Again, it's trendy. It's fun to say that Jaren's terrible, but like he would go to another team and instantly be an all-star again. And then that same faction of the fan base is going, man, I wish we had a player that rebounded, blocked shots, and was a big who could shoot and all this other kind of crap. Like, it's just wild.
The oh, sorry, I saw a comment that these comments are good. Sorry, guys. I get
thanks for being here. Yeah, Jalen, all y'all. Thanks for being here, guys.
How would you grade Tripp's season?
It's 2 seasons, right? So up until the ankle injury, I would say it was probably an A- because he was carrying this team. There were still things he could have done better, but he was absolutely toting the water for this team for 67% of the season. And then everything kind of caught up to him, his ankle injury, and then it fell off. So I want to give him a B-, slightly better than Ja, just because he fell off so hard at the end of the year. And, Ryan, thanks for being here in the comments, man. Like, Jaren was going to get his big contract because he was heading towards an all-NBA. He is going to be an all-defensive team player. And at one point, odds-on favorite for the DPOY and a top 7 candidate for the MVP. So, like, he was having a killer season.
Yeah. And
then all that came to a crashing halt with his ankle injury. So, like, part of me gets that. You get in a mental funk from that. But it's no excuse, and I'm going to give him a B-.
I'm going to give him a B. I'm with Jalen. I've got a solid B. I do think this is, if he grows his basketball IQ just a little bit, he's going to be a perennial all-star and potentially perennial all-NBA player, which I think is very possible.
I got a solution for that coming up in just a few.
Well, yeah, we're almost there. Oh, I'm excited. So last person of the big 3 that I want to talk about, Desmond Bane, who did not have the greatest of showings in this playoff series. Let me see. I had where are my notes? I had notes. That's a Chipotle order. I don't need to read that off. I was like cheese quesadilla, pib
extra steak. Like, what's
that? What the hell? So these might have updated a little bit because I don't think I counted like the last couple minutes of the game, but he shot less than 33% from the field this series, less than 22% from 3 this series, and average almost 4 turnovers a game. When you're making almost $40 million, that's tough. That's bad. That's tough.
Yeah.
And I like Dez a lot. I'm a big Dez fan. I'm a big Dez fan. As this season has gone on, I don't know if I'm a huge Dez fan if he's making $39 million.
And that's where I land. I like Desmond Bane. I like what he does. I love to know what he does when he's not on the court in Memphis, right, from the old commercial. I like a lot of things about Dez and what he does, but not for $40 million to get those kind of eggs late in the season and in the playoffs, man.
Shout out Wayno. Watching Dez dribble the ball is like trying to piece straight up a wall. And it got worse this year, man. I don't remember it being as bad as this.
And then he was seeing ghosts in the playoffs, man. So many passes to nobody, so many turnovers in that Oklahoma City series. And give credit to Oklahoma City, one of the best defensive teams in the world. But Desmond did not help himself with some of the passes and just like mind dumps that he had in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he had a pretty good season, I would say. Statistically, like had the most double-doubles, I believe, that he's had the most 20-point games he's had. Like
there were stretches where he was dominant, right? You had Jaren and Desmond would set the table for Ja to close the door in the 4th quarter.
So many wide open shots missed.
And I love Desmond, man. So like what I'm about to say is going to hurt my heart, but I love Desmond Bane, and I like watching him play. Yeah. So
when I get pissed at Luke Kennard for missing as many wide open shots as he does, he's making $10 million. You quadruple that, I'm really going to have a hard time with it. Yeah. I just, when you start looking at some of the other players that are making $40 million, it is startling and it's just worrisome. So what would you give his season grade? Because I would give the season grade like still a B. I think he was a B player, maybe like a B-. I don't think he was a C player. Performance in the playoffs, C-. But as a whole, I'm giving him a B.
That's fair. I'll give him like kind of there with Jaren, B- because he carried us for a lot of the season.
Yes.
But if we factor in the playoffs, Luke, for me, it's a C as in see you in Sacramento, sir, because I'm just struggling with him making $40 million on this team.
Which brings me to our last segment of today. Dusting it off. Do I have a book that I look? It's a what's this? Would you make that trade? We are bringing it back because there are reports reports. There were things that came out yesterday. A recent report, it's just clutchpoints.com.net.org.
.com.
They had an article just talking about the Grizzlies and talking about potential off-season moves and trades that they should possibly pursue. Kevin Durant was in this article, which is going to be in every article. Like we know, we've talked about that. We know. And it should be said that the big emphasis on this article is specifically Desmond Bane's contract. In this article, the player that is getting sent out is Desmond Bane because of his 30 whatever million a year. So in this exercise, the two names that I was really interested in, the one name that were Damonte Sabonis and Lauri Markkanen. We're going to talk more about Lauri Markkanen later because I really want to talk about Damonte Sabonis with you because he was your trade deadline guy. You were, I think we did a dream realistic. We had a whole series and you were like dream scenario Sabonis. And I think me and Uncle Buck both made fun of you. Because you're like, oh yeah. Okay.
So Chris Dodson wrote the article and he writes for Clutch Sports. He writes for several. Dodson's a guy that's an insider. He has some knowledge. He's in the know. Like he's not just throwing out names to throw out names. Like Dodson has some clout in NBA circles, right? So say what you want about certain websites, but Chris Dodson is a known knower of the NBA and insider, right?
And
so he wrote this article.
We see it. So like Southpaw, like we see you, like we get it.
I get it. We
get it a lot. Like, this guy's
get it. But this guy is a little bit different than the Evan Sitteries and some of these other guys who just throw stuff at the wall and something sticks. Like Dodson has some insider information. So he said that the two names that Memphis are most linked to are Lauri Markkanen, like you said, and my boy Damonte Sabonis. I said at the trade deadline, like Sabonis, because that was right around the time he was like, I'm going to assess this offseason and what it looks like. Sabonis does everything that we need, right? He is a walking double-double starting there. He rebounds, so he can be that anchor in the middle to let Jaren roam and play like he wants to. He is a pick-and-roll wizard. Remember what he did with De'Aaron Fox? Who plays like De'Aaron Fox? Oh, I don't know. Ja freaking Morant. And so you get them in a pick-and-roll type offense. Again, he is a defense is a little bit meh, but he is truly like he's a bunny warrior, a putback king. Like Damonte Sabonis checks a lot of boxes, and you can make it work with a trade something like this, right? Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark, Vince Williams, and a protected 2026 first round. In return, you could get Damonte Sabonis, Keegan Murray, who we also like, and two future second round picks.
Is Keegan Murray who you got back? Because it's an oddly easy trade. You can build this trade pretty easily. I did the same thing. I did Dez and Brendan Clark get you there. I didn't throw Vincent there, but that makes sense. And you wanted Keegan Murray back. I was looking for who you take back.
Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, either one, because like Monk works. You might have to add a little bit more, maybe throw in like a Conchar or a GG kind of a contract that might, or maybe a sign and trade with Santi to make the math work, because Monk's owed about $18.5 million and Keegan is $11.1 million. And what I like about Keegan Murray is an expiring contract. So you can either then re-sign him or you could use him to move.
And you know what? If you get, we see,
I like Keegan Murray a
like Keegan Murray a lot.
He works, man.
And you get Sabonis as your starting big. You can have Edie be your backup big, which is great.
Because Sabonis, remember, is a smaller center, much in the lane of Brandon Clark. He's not like this big monster, 6'9", 6'10", somewhere around there. But then you keep Edie as the size, right? Because then you have that big paint defender. And again, I love Brandon Clark and Dez, but hate to see him go. But Sabonis checks a lot of boxes for us. And I'm as big of the only person who might be more of an Edie guy is Greer, who's here in the comments than me. But if we get Sabonis, man, then like Edie's going to be like the role player that Daniel Greer has always thought he was, because Sabonis is truly a starting center, and the pick and roll game with him and Ja would feed families. I
mean, if you can, a walking double-double who rebounds, we already have that. But if you can have two of those.
Yeah. And Keegan Murray can shoot, man. Like Keegan Murray solved some issues for us on the wing, and a starting lineup of Ja, Jalen, Keegan Murray, Jaren, and Damonte Sabonis is immediately back in the contender conversation. Immediately.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me is this is, I see that, would it cost too many of our assets? That's the thing that I just don't know. It's the
Here's the conversation Drew and I had about this not all that long ago is like, we've got we got all these picks and all this kind of stuff. Do you truly need more youth on this team, or can you mortgage like maybe 2 to 4 years worth of picks, 2 or 3 years worth of picks to get a player that helps you win now? Because all year long, we've been bitching and moaning about how young this team is. Our friggin' GM, who made us younger, said that we unintentionally got younger. So why would we need to hang on to more picks, get more rookies, get more young guys, when you can turn that into a Damonte Sabonis, Keegan Murray, who help you win now?
Everybody got triggered in the comments. We said assets. We don't need those stinking assets.
No. Give him Dez, give him BC, give him a handful of picks, whatever it takes. Like, everybody's talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, I hate to, like, that's a fun conversation to have, but there is 0% chance that Giannis comes to Memphis. Less than zero.
Yeah, that one's tough.
This one has a pulse. Like, this one can work by moving only one of the core three and some picks. Like, this could absolutely work.
I think we were both aligned that we would make this trade. And
I would tear my rotator cuff picking up that phone so quick.
I know it's our off season just started. If stuff's going to happen, I don't know when. Do we have to wait to? I know that whenever the year starts, I hope that
look for something to happen around the draft. I mean, somewhere around in there is when things start getting kind of moving. And if Sabonis is truly unhappy and wants out, I don't know. Maybe you go hire Mike Brown. He has a background with Damonte Sabonis. I don't know.
I just hope any moves happen sooner rather than later so we can get to work on fixing this.
Just know, I'm just going to warn y'all, Jalen, Ryan, Wayno, DG, everybody in the comments, Luke, I will be insufferable if we make this trade for Damonte Sabonis for at least an episode or two.
Yep, and I'm here for it. Last thing before we get out of here, as long as we keep Jitty, Daniel's good with any trade.
Yeah, something like that.
That's something like that. That's going to do it for our show today, y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Parrish. I know you're probably not watching anymore. Thank you for hopping on with us, brother. If we can leave you with anything. Oh, we will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll be back. We'll be talking more basketball games. You might be talking closeouts. I don't know. But we will be back.
Laurie Markkinen.
Oh yeah, we might talk. Yeah, we'll talk more Laurie Markkinen because I threw his name up there just cause, and I was like, but we're not going to talk about him. We'll talk about him more tomorrow. If we can leave you with anything today, anything at all, like we do, remember these two things. Remember to be a little weird, just a little bit. Remember to smile, guys. Smile. Bye, guys. Have a good day.